How's it going? So today we're gonna be making a quail pen. This could also work for bantams or maybe young chicks that come out of the brooder. What we're using today are these are like storage racks for like your washroom or something, or a bathroom. This here is half-inch wide and 16-inch half-inch wide bars. We're gonna use this as the base. This is a 16-foot long piece by 16 inches wide. So we're going to use it as the floor. And then what we're going to do is this is 20 inches wide. Then we're going to take 16-foot long piece that is 16 inches tall, and the spaces on these are actually 1 inch apart, and these are going to be the two sides. We'll have one here, and then we'll have another piece here. The great thing about these, they're pretty easy to put together. I just wire them. I have an older one that I made that I use hognose clamps, but so all four sides go up easy, and then you can either cut some more to make it all nice and uniform to do the sides. But what I normally do is I just get some extra scrap fencing or something to put on the sides. You could put dividers, and then to finish it off I use a piece of tin, and then I cut out doors. So it's a really quick, easy setup. Very sturdy. These things are designed to hold a lot of weight, so once you have it secured pretty good, it's going to be pretty hard for predators to get through. And normally where I go is to like a Habitat for Humanity restore, and I buy these for a couple bucks. And so these work out really well. And I've used these for quail and chukar. So there definitely wouldn't be any problem if you use them for bantams, or like I said, chicks as well, for like a growing off pen after they're out of the brooder. What you could even do is you could put them like this and make a wider pen and put your walls up. But for my purposes for today, I'm just going to have one here and a second one set up just like so. And then I put on my walls, cut on a door, and put a roof on top. So I'll show you how it's done. Alright, so I've got these two made, or put together so far. I've wired them on both sides for both of these. Now the way these racks are made, they have a small L in them. And so on one end, I double lap them, so I overlap them. And so that makes this very rigid. I normally use this side as the back end. And then this side here, since there's only one small L, I have it sit on top like so. And so it does bend a bit currently. But once I put the sides, there will be no more bend in it. You normally use this as the front. Now from here you could put in dividers. This is a 6-foot long pen, so I could put one divider in the middle and make them 2 3-foot long by 20-inch deep pens, or I could put 2 dividers in and make 3 2-foot long 20-inch deep pens, all depending on what I wanted to raise or put in here. But since I've got quite a few birds, I'm just going to leave it as one big pen. I've got a bunch of chukars I'm going to put in this pen here, and then I've got a bunch of Texas blue scale quail I'm going to put in the second one. So I'm just going to cap them off on the ends and then put a roof on it, and then I'll cut a door, and What I really like about these two is the way, since they're inch apart, you can put in pop bottle waterers, and they fit in perfect. Or or you could put in the nipple waterers for poultry, or you could put in like a rabbit ball waterer. Any of those three will work fine. And then you can just pop in a some kind of gravity fed feeder, and it's a full setup unit, and take care of them once a week or every few days if need be. Or normally what I do is in the spring and summer is I check eggs once a day, and then I have my feeders and waterers set up where, you know, twice a week I take care of their feed and water, and that way it makes things very automatic and very time efficient. Is all I have to do is just, you know, pass through every day and collect eggs real quick, and then go on to work or get other stuff done on the farm. And then I just know, you know, one day on the weekends I feed and water, and then Wednesdays I feed and water, and that's about it. So I really like these setup, and we'll continue on with the next stage. Alright, so what I've done is I've installed these sidewalls. They're 16 by 20 pieces of wire fencing, and so I've attached them now. So now they're fairly sturdy. All that's left is I'm going to install doors. Now you have to kind of put some forethought into installing your doors. If there's any chance that you're going to be dividing it, you want to set your spaces in your doors correctly. So this is a 6-foot pen, and it's highly unlikely that I'm going to divide them into 3 sections. So what I will do is I'll put 2 doors, one on this end and one on this end, equally spaced, and that way down the road, if I decide to cut the pen in half, I can just install a divider and I'll have 2 sections. So I will put 2 doors. Also, that way, if since I'm putting chuckers in one and quail in the others, if I have to do anything on this end, the birds can run over to the other end, and vice versa. And if I have to catch birds, I'll have 2 doors equally spaced apart from each other, so I can catch birds along the whole length of the pen pretty easily. So also, if you're going to install you know, like rabbit feeders or something like that, you would then have to cut notches out for those as well. And most waterer systems you aren't going to need to do any cutting for, so that's good. So my next step is going to install the 2 doors. I do that before I put the roof on. That way, if I have to do some like internal wiring or clipping or whatever, I can do that. And so here it is now. It's getting a bit late, so I'm gonna have to feed and whatnot, so I'll probably finish this up tomorrow. But alright, so what I've done now is I've cut out all 4 doors, and what I do is I prefer for my quail and chuckers, I prefer a drop gate. What I do is I just wire it to the roof, cut out my gap, and I normally have I cut the hole an inch smaller than on all sides than the door. So the door was a 16 by 8 inch piece of wire, and so I cut a 14-inch by 7 hole, and that way when the bird's running around they can't get out, and then I can also add a latch to it later. But so what I did is I put a door here and a door further down, that way I can put a divider down the middle if I need to later. But these are them so far. Last step is going to be add in the tin roof, and then setting them up and putting birds in them. Alright, so now we have the tin roof put on and the doors are installed. So basically all that's going to be left is, so the tin is installed and it's also on the back end as well, kind of to help with wind. I do have a couple inch overhang, probably about 2.5 inches. So this system is designed to have front feeders and waterers. Since I'm having the chuckers run the entire length, what I'll probably do is I'll probably have just one large feeder in the center, and then maybe one or two waterers on the edges, depending on how fast they drink or whatever. And that's going to be it. It's going to be a very simple deal. I will have this one and I'll move them, and I'm actually getting rabbit waterers with the little ball valve, hopefully tomorrow or the day after. And so once I get those in, I'll fill them up with the birds, put the feeder and water in there, and show you the completed setup. Alright, so here's those pens in action. As you can see, the 16-inch height is more than enough for these chuckers, so definitely big enough for quail as well. You could probably get away with a 12-inch height and still be perfectly fine. This here is 6 foot long and 18 inches deep, I believe, and so as you see, they have tons of space. There's 6 birds in here, 3 pair of chuckers. Currently just an extra holding pen. So I do have the some blocks on top because we had some high winds a few days ago, and so it just kind of helped anchor things down. But they really like it. Since it is temporary, I do have a few a temporary feeder and water just kind of wired in there. And once I get other things situated, I'll move these birds somewhere else. So I didn't want to cut any more holes in for feeders when I might be permanently using it for something else. So we just give you an idea of what it looks like with birds inside. Lots of space, and that's it. Thanks again for watching, and see you next time.